It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Hey, time for another weekly edition of A Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. I'm your guy, Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
And Uncle Chris, we got a good show for you. Camden County getting closer to finalizing their 2026 budget, and new guy throwing his name in the cap for auditor.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Plus, maybe some legal trouble with the Oasis developer Amusement Park, Jeff Tagedoff. What does that mean for the city of Osage Beach? Could they be on the hook? We'll talk a little bit about that. Osage Nation, they're going to have a culture center. Fishing World remembers Versailles fishing icon Dion. Hibdon, firefighters act fast to save a local golf course. Hey, we've got it all on this week's Cup of Coffee. But first, got to find out what's going on here at Slumberland. And we got to remind you guys to boat safe, drive safe.
The New Year mattress sale at Slumberland, up to 50% off list. Get a Sealy Queen mattress for just $2.99 or a Sealy Posturepedic for $5.99. Get 60-month financing on Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster. Save big, only at Slumberland. The New Year sale at Slumberland, up to 50% off list. Get your choice of these best-selling Lazy Bear recliners for just $5.55. Get a Sealy mattress for just $2.99. Pay no interest for 36 months with approved credit, only at Slumberland.
A cup of coffee as we wake up, in the car, or right here on Lake TV with Will and Chris. Kind of like driving, we do it every single day.
But we shouldn't do it while distracted. Did you know that drivers who text are 23 times more likely to be in a crash? So keep your eyes on the road and always remember to buckle up and put your phones down.
This Drive Safe, Boat Safe message brought to you by Price and Randall Injury Attorneys.
Now back to your cup of coffee with Will and Chris.
All right, as we get started with our local headlines, something we've been covering, been ongoing, is unusually late to have the budget finalized, but it's been a point of contention with Camden County, proposed cuts over the last 3 to 4 weeks, and so it looks like we're getting closer to a 2026 budget for Camden County, and so we're going to break down the numbers just a little bit. I saw a preliminary budget sent over from Auditor Jimmy Laughlin, who told me it's not finalized, you couldn't share anything with me, but the commission, they shared a preliminary budget they had gotten. So one of the many things I love about the Camden County Commission is, hey, they really are transparent. They're like, well, we'll give you what we've got so far.
Yeah.
And so in that, it looks like projected revenue for 2026 is $39.7 million, whereas the projected expenses are $46.7 million. So that's about a $7 million deficit. It's worth noting the two big departments everybody was up in arms about were suggested cuts to Road and Bridge and proposed cuts to the Sheriff's Department. Well, Road and Bridge, they're going to come in at $12.3 million, which seems like a lot. However, they're dropping about $3 million from 2025's budget of $15.6 million. And for the Sheriff's Department, it looks like Sheriff and Sheriff correlations totaled $13.5 million in 2025. Their total budget for 26 actually increased to $15 million. So people will be excited to hear that. In regards to the auditor, it sounds like that in 2025's expenditures, they were projected about $11 million over what the expenses actually were for the county. And revenue was under projected. So there was more revenue than they thought was going to come in. So they over-project on expenses, they under-project on revenue, which allows them to show an excess. It's really hard to follow. However, again, in 2025, Camden County had $42 million in revenue and $41 million in expense. So they had $1 million surplus. So their budget checked out fairly well. Again, it's complicated budget. They use software that the auditor claims. They have to put it in that way. It's really hard. It still appears that there's going to be a projected $7 million deficit as these budgets are accepted. So I'll be eager to see the final, actually the budget that they publish. They put on the county website. There's nothing right now because you can't move forward if they go $7 million deficit. It was interesting because when the auditor told the commission the numbers didn't work after that meeting a Monday ago, Presiding Commissioner Skelton was furious. He said, hey, you agreed to these numbers in the meeting. There were no objections. You have to make this budget work. So I don't know what all that means, but sales tax in Camden County for January is up. As a matter of fact, it's trending to be the best January the county has seen in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And they do credit that to weather. So even though right now there is a $7 million deficit initially, maybe the tax collection or receipts in the county will make up that $7 million deficit. Hard to follow, but it looks like at least all the offices are going to be funded for the time being, and doesn't look like anyone is losing their job, or no department is up in arms right now saying we're not getting enough money. So,
You know what's kind of disappointing with all this governmental money distribution, where's it going, and stuff. It's like what's going on in Minnesota right now with all of the fraud. They have become so good at hiding money. I mean, even billions of dollars. It's hard to find out who took what and where it went and how it got away. And, they should just make these things so much easier, so much simpler. Okay, this much is going to the sheriff's department and these are the reasons why. And this much is going to Road and Bridge. And this is, we've talked about it in the last few weeks. Since 07, 08, they've had a tax where they've raised over $90 million. Half of that was supposed to go to sheriff and half of that was supposed to go to roads. It didn't. A small percentage did. Where did the rest of it go?
So here's what's ironic about all that. On the surface, it appears like $40 million minimum was put where it wasn't supposed to go.
Yeah.
However, it was put back into general county budget and then allocated where those departments did get fully funded. And so there might have been the right amount of funds dispersed, but they make it so confusing. Here's what I was talking about with Commissioner Gohagan on Monday. I said, here's the problem with county budgeting and the way you guys keep your budget. I said, even if you're not doing something nefarious, it's really hard to prove that you're not doing something nefarious. And if you are, it's really hard to prove that you are. Is there a way to simplify it? I spoke with Commissioner Gohagan. I spoke with Presiding Commissioner Skelton, and he says, I agree. We would love to simplify this because we as a commission are not auditors. We are not experts. We knew when we got the proposed budget, something was off and we needed to take a closer look, but this is too complicated.
Yeah.
This is too hard to follow. And like I said, initially it looks like $40 million is going where it's not supposed to or where it wasn't designed to. For all we know, it actually did go to Road and Bridge and to the Sheriff's Department, but because of the way all of these accounts and all of these collecting entities and all of these different accounts have to disperse money to where it's supposed to go, you'd never be able to prove it. And it's so confusing the way it's set up right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, right? I mean, you can make it simpler so we can all see and understand. They just kind of mix it all up so that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm not alleging that Auditor Jimmy Laughlin is doing anything nefarious, but I will say he is having a hard time explaining in layman's terms to someone like me where all of this money is going and where the shortage is. The commission is still not exactly satisfied. We'll follow this. I want to find out what the final budget looks like, and are they just going to move forward with what is published to be currently a $7 million deficit, and how is that made up, and how do we still fund all of the departments? Now, worth noting, kind of the weird time coming up, we've got the April elections, the general municipal elections, right, which will be heated. Osage Beach has some a big race coming up, but then you've also got the August primary election. Chris Franken has announced his candidacy for Camden County Auditor.
Wow.
That name sounds familiar. He is the former presiding commissioner of Camden County, and Franken sent out a press release on Monday that said, after careful consideration and observation of the recent budget debacle, I have decided to announce my candidacy for Camden County Auditor. The process that was required for the approval of the 2026 budget lacked the professionalism, clarity, and openness that should be expected in a first-class county like ours. My previous experience as the Camden County Presiding Commissioner, in-depth involvement in the budget process, and familiarity with the ballot language that funds our department make me uniquely qualified to successfully manage and execute the duties of this office. If elected, I will ensure that the Camden County Commission has full access to all accounts and balances in real time, and promise to have open and honest conversation with the commission and all office holders whenever it is requested. Further, I will work to address other duties of the auditor's office not currently being performed, such as routine audits of county offices and yearly inventory of county assets. I respectfully ask for the community support and vote on August 4th, 2026. So an interesting development as former Presiding Commissioner Chris Franken says, hey, I don't love the way this went down. I think I'm qualified. And listen, I'm throwing my name in the cap. I'm running to be the next Camden County Auditor. So normally the auditor, not something where there's a challenger, not necessarily a super attractive and glamorous job, right? You have to be qualified for it. Well, we are going to have a challenger this time around, assuming that Jimmy Laughlin applies. Now, this is for August, so I believe in March, the deadline to file your candidacy for the August election. So still time, but as of right now, Chris Franken has announced his candidacy for Camden County Auditor.
Okay, so I don't know Mr. Franken at all, and I don't know if he would make a good auditor or not. My question is, if he was the presiding commissioner before, when all of this crazy crap with the budget happened that we don't know about, you know, would he be a good person to bring in if he already screwed up the budget when he was the presiding commissioner? Or is he good because he knows about that budget? That would be my question. Again, I don't know what the right answer is on that. You know, if he was a bad presiding commissioner, it would be bad to let him back in the hen house to overlook the money that, you know, whatever happened on his watch. But on the other hand, that might not be true at all. So, I mean, voters are going to have to look.
A fair question. Yeah. And nonetheless, in regards to historically, Camden County has gotten into this place and into some of these predicaments, not just overnight, but historically.
Yep.
So it's almost like the adage of when a team fires their head coach, well, he automatically becomes qualified for a great coordinator, potentially for another team. So it's worth looking at, right?
Yeah.
Good question. We'll continue to follow that. Our next local headline, been one that has been posted online. It's worth addressing, but looks like the Oasis Amusement Park developer, Jeff Tegetthoff, is facing some litigation. And so people have been kind of assuming and saying that the city of Osage Beach could be in trouble. And so this is referring to the St. Louis Business Journal. Reported on a lawsuit, it sounded like, that was ongoing, and it involved a $13 million judgment.
Yeah, so Jeff Tegetthoff, he is the developer of the Oasis, involved in this lawsuit filed by Solera Multifamily LLC and Hickory Investors LLC, are seeking a judgment against him. The case was initiated right after Christmas of 2025, December 26th, includes multiple entities associated with Tegetthoff as defendants. As of January 15th of this year, of 26, actions are being taken by the investors to collect the judgment against Tegetthoff, and they say further developments in the case may provide more insights into the claims and the legal proceedings involved. But the big question for folks around here is, how does that affect the Oasis and the city of Osage Beach and everything?
Sure, and there is a lady named Leslie Mullins who's been posting online kind of breaking down her understanding of the litigation and process and kind of breaking down what could come of this. I don't know how credible this individual is or if there's any factual to that, but she raises some concerns and some hypothetical situations that could be damning to this particular project. I reached out to Jeff Tegetthoff, and he said, this is a business dispute. They sued me, I sued them. There was no finding of wrongdoing, and I agreed to buy them out of the properties. I have no further comments. Now, it's worth noting Tegetthoff was slated to be on Lower Deck, Lake Ozark Regional Economic Development Board, set to be a new member in 2026. They've recently announced that seat is open and they will replace his seat there. I did reach out to Mayor Michael Harmison, and I said, you know, you've probably heard some of the murmuring, some of the things online. I want to ask two questions. Are you concerned about the future of Lake Oasis Amusement Park project? And secondly, if this investment group and developer aren't able to complete this project, could there be, in any way, a world where the city of Osage Beach could be held responsible for bonds or other financial obligations to the project? The mayor was gracious enough to take my call. He said, first, there's no concern. I've actually known about this since June, and this project is fully funded. They had to disclose this to us. They had to disclose this to the city special counsel, the financial group involved, and so absolutely not. Jeff Tegetthoff is one of many investors on this project, and this project is fully funded. I said, okay, so if this investment group and developer weren't able to complete the project, I said, let's talk hypotheticals, right? Let's say that this went belly up. Could there be a world where the city of Osage Beach taxpayers would be on the hook for paying back these bonds? He said, even if those bonds fall through, which won't happen, he said, part of our redevelopment agreement included that this could not fall back on the city. There's protections in place, and there's clauses where it wouldn't be our financial obligation or responsibility. And also the mayor said, I believe that this investor that filed the suit in this ongoing litigation should be going to arbitration soon. But it didn't sound like there was any concern, not only that the project at Lake of the Ozarks is fully funded and is going to happen, but that this is pretty common and will play out in court and, like he said, head to arbitration. But the mayor of the city of Osage Beach went on and he said, listen, I know this is a hot button issue. Mm-hmm. He said, you've probably got comments and questions. He said, I urge you, please reach out to me at the city. We'd love to sit down and talk with you. He goes, my phone line, my email is open. He said, I'm not going to shy away from questions and talk about this, but he said, I am confident this project at Lake of the Ozarks is totally funded and will be coming to fruition.
Good. Well, and again, a lot of this is just normal big business. You know, I mean, there's a whole lot of this going on when there's a lot of money involved. It's great to hear that the city has kind of indemnified itself if things go bad and wrong. And I think we saw that from the city when they were working through the new ownership of the mall development too. You know, there was a stage of the mall development where it looked like the city would be on the hook if they went through with it, and so they shut it down and cut off that ownership thing, and it came back around to work better. But I think the city of Osage Beach has done a good job in preparing for things like this. But I've heard that the Oasis project is fully funded already too. So if that's the case, then the money shouldn't be an issue, hopefully.
Yeah, I think the point of being one of many investors is it's not like contractors on this project and people they've contracted are getting their payments from Jeff Tegetthoff and his development company, right? It is other entities. When if this project is fully funded, I would say that money's there and ready to be paid out. I see people working, and it's my hope. Like, I want to see this Oasis development, this Oasis project.
It's supposed to be open park later this year,
right?
Like September or October.
Like September, was the deadline, right? That we were given and we're following. So that's what we know, and that's what we could share. So our next headline: Osage Nation announces a cultural center. To open this year right here at Lake of the Ozarks.
So they say we're excited about the momentum building in Lake Ozark, progress underway toward the Osage Nation Cultural Center, slated for spring-summer of this year. The space will be a place to share Osage history, culture, living tradition with the lake community and visitors from across Missouri and beyond. Each step forward brings us closer to opening doors that invite learning, connection, and celebration. Be on the lookout for construction photos as the building takes shape, along with the announcements in the months ahead about opening details and opportunities to gather. We look forward to sharing this journey with you. Another step in the progress of Osage Nation Casino at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, and this is a post from their Facebook page from January 10th. And if you want to stay connected directly with them, because they update and are staying in communication with the community, it's Osage Casinos at Lake of the Ozarks. That's their Facebook page. This post came directly from there. And if you're wondering where this project or this development, this culture center be, I reached out to Mayor David Ridgely, and he said straight north of Reese's building in their new parking lot at the end of the strip, kind of across from Neon Taco and George Tucker's new entertainment district there, right by the dam and Celebration Cruises. So right there across the way.
I think that used to be a pizza place or something right there.
Yeah, like Damn Good Slice was what that building used to be. I think you're right. And so that's where that culture center will be, and they're promising a spring to summer opening of this year. So we'll keep you posted that. And again, you can stay posted on your own just by connecting with them on Facebook.
And I saw somebody, I think it was on Facebook too, said, this is just one of the necessary steps they have to take in the community to get to where they want to go. So could be.
Yeah, moving fully ahead. All right, so sad news as we got the announcement of the passing of Bassmaster Classic champion Dion Hibdon, who passed away Monday at the age of 58. He was the son of legendary angler Guido Hibdon, and he is survived by his wife Amy, his children Peyton, Connor, and Lawson, and his siblings Dottie and Chuck. And this is right from Major League Fishing. I was going to read this. Growing up in mid-Missouri, Dion dedicated early on to follow in the footsteps of his father, a fellow Bassmaster Classic champion and Bass Fishing Hall of Famer inductee, both in guiding on Lake of the Ozarks and eventually fishing professionally. He competed on the FLW Tour for 21 seasons and qualified for 11 Forest Wood Cups. Longtime former FLW tournament director Bill Taylor remembered Dion as a kind, well-liked competitor who wore the Hibdon name well. Dion was special, Taylor said. He had no enemies. Everyone loved both he and Guido, especially Dion. He was there to help others as well as himself. He got along great with all the other anglers and really epitomized what professional bass fishing is all about. While his legacy is inextricably linked to his father, Dion experienced plenty of his own success. His breakthrough moment came at the 1997 Classic on Logan Martin Lake, which Dion won by a single ounce. He then added a Forest World Cup title on the Red River in 2000. To this day, he is one of just 5 anglers to ever win both championships. Dion didn't necessarily depend on his dad the way he was going to fish, Taylor said. They went about it in 2 different ways. I think Dion was a little bit more versatile than his dad, to be honest. Dion, who's right in this photo, and his father Guido are the only father-son duo to ever both win the Bassmaster Classic. A great photo there. Dion, however, was never concerned about paving his own way. After each of his major victories, he never failed to credit his father, with whom he traveled for much of his pro career. He said, "When I won the Classic, people made a big deal about me becoming my own fisherman and getting out from beneath my father's shadow," he told longtime FLW writer Rob Newell in an interview. "We just do not see it that way, and we never have. If you want to think about this in terms of proverbial shadows, then what people need to realize is that Dad cast a pretty big shadow. There are a lot of fishermen under my father's shadow, and we are going to be there for a long time. We can only hope as bass fishermen that one day we are about half as good as he is, and I'm proud to be under his shadow." Guido, meanwhile, credited Dion with inventing the bait that became synonymous with the family, the Guido bug. The story goes that Dion made the soft plastic crawfish imitator, which played a major role in both Guido's Bassmaster Classic and Dion's Forest World Cup wins as a jig trailer in a middle school science class. Dion went on to claim an FLW Series win in 2006, as well as a Toyota Series, and 2 Phoenix Bass Fishing League victories on his home lake, Lake of the Ozarks. 2 of his children, Peyton and Lawson, have also earned BFL wins on Lake of the Ozarks. With all of this success, we saw posts from everyone in the fishing world, from lure companies, citizens, and so big for what he accomplished professionally. But what you can always tell from a human is what the people closest to them said, and I thought it was fitting. On January 14th, his wife Amy posted on Facebook. She said, "I was the most blessed lady in the whole world when this guy came along and healed all of my hurts. No one ever loved me like Dion. He was made for me, and I will hold every memory close to my heart in the coming days. Thank you for all the kind words and support you have offered to my sweet family. He was absolutely wonderful." Many have responded and posted on Facebook and other social media pages, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Hibdon family, the Versailles community, along with the entire professional fishing world. Today we honor and we remember a true Lake of the Ozarks legend, Dion Hibdon.
Wow, that is quite the note from his wife. It says a lot about the husband, the man that he was, right?
Yeah, and you see the family, the Hibdon family is everything great about the Versailles and Morgan County community.
I wonder what my wife would write about me when I'm gone. You know, probably wouldn't be that nice.
No, maybe not, but a special family, and so we wanted to remember a true icon, Dion Hibdon. Our next headline, as we celebrate love with upcoming Valentine's Day, Bridal Cave has their special vow renewal event.
Yeah, you know, they do this every year. The Bridal Cave will host its 14th annual vow renewal event, Valentine's Day, February 14th, of course, 2026. That's coming up fast, Valentine's Day is. Inviting couples to reaffirm their love in a setting that has witnessed decades of unforgettable I-dos. So this will take place from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, offer couples the opportunity to renew their vows inside the cave, right? Pretty cool, unless you've got that claustrophobia going. Surrounded by the breathtaking formations and everything that's in there. It's open to married couples of all ages and stages. The event has become a cherished Valentine's Day tradition for locals and visitors, right? It is free, but they will be collecting non-perishable items for donations to the local food pantry. So it's free to renew your vows, but bring some non-perishables, give back there. Great stuff. That is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and Lindsay Webster Dillon said for 14 years this event has been about celebrating commitment, whether you've been married for 1 year or 50. No reservations are required, and couples may arrive at any time during the event hours, as you said, 9 to 4. For more information on the event or Bridal Cave, you can contact Lindsay with emailing or check out their Facebook page. They're very active on social media. So yeah, you've been out there. That place is cool, man. Bridal Cave is a sight to behold. All right, so hey, this was an interesting headline. Firefighters, their fast action stop a fire at a local golf course.
Yeah, Portachima Golf Course. So they stopped the blaze before it could spread to nearby homes. Crews were called to a roughly 2-acre fire. I mean, this was a big deal, man. That was burning in a wooded area between 2 holes of the golf course. Firefighters responded about 8:30 at night, 2 brush trucks, a tanker, 2 chief officers, and they were able to contain the fire before it expanded further. The golf course was not damaged. Good news there for golfers. Nearby residents said that an unattended fire from earlier in the day had flared up again in the evening as winds had picked up. We know around here that happens quite easily. It spread throughout some dead wood and the brush. Had several neighbors attempt to help create informal fire lines until the firefighters got there, but they got there in time, got it shut down, so that was good. No injuries reported. Officials continue to urge caution because it's been so dry.
Yeah, this all according to Lake Expo. So good work from our local firefighters, and more importantly, good work because that's like the best golf course at Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Thank God that golf course wasn't damaged. That's where I'll be doing my best work this spring. So get ready out there on the links, just loosening those shoulders up. So hey, a heartbreaking weekend in the NFL Conference Championship weekend is here. Don't want to talk too much about last weekend's game, but I want to know, Rams at Seahawks, who you got?
I got the Seahawks winning. I hope the Rams win, but I picked Seattle to win.
I'm going with the Rams. How about with the Patriots at the Broncos?
I think I would go with the Broncos, but they lost their starting quarterback. Bo Nix broke his ankle. Second to last play of the game last week, so he's out. So I think the Patriots will win that game in Denver.
Yeah, I feel like my life is back to a 12 or 13-year-old. The Bills are out and the Patriots are headed to another Super Bowl. How fitting.
I'm so disgusted by the NFL officials. I mean, it seems to me that they pick winners sometimes.
I'm just convinced that the world is not ready for a Buffalo Bills Super Bowl parade, and so we may never have one. And that's just fine
that's
with
sad.
me.
That's
fine
sad.
with me. Don't worry about it. All right, so we want to end on a positive note. This week's weekly scripture and reflection comes from Hebrews. I love this. From Hebrews 10, verse 23 through 25. Let us hold unwaveringly to the hope that we profess, for he who is promised is faithful. And let us consider how to spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some of us are in the habit of doing, but be together and encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. That we as believers are supposed to encourage each other, do life together, and pick each other up when you're down. And I heard Pastor Stephen Crispin say recently that the way that believers love each other and encourage each other speaks to the world about who God is.
Yeah.
And so important, and I love that. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23 through 25, our favorite scripture this week. And as we look at what else is on Lake TV, the great Kelly Miller from COMC is on the Spotlight Show.
So she'll join us about once a year and let us know what's going on with COMC, how much growth there was last year, what they got planned for the coming year. So we talk about all of that and so much more. COMC is a huge part of the community now.
And so much exciting things on the horizon we'll be excited to share with you. Plus, High school basketball this week on the Coaches Show. You can catch the Versailles coaches, but man, coming up in February, we got some girls and boys games. Looking forward to that. February 2nd and 3rd, back in action after a short break. And hey, don't miss the monthly market update for January. Jessica Bruce has Jessica Rosier from the Changing Table, that and a whole lot more. Hey, that's our time. Thanks for watching this week's Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake.